Hey everyone! So in this video, let's look at the repository for the Class Bead game. So I'll make myself small and let's go there. Here we are, Class Bead game under Rattling on GitHub. That's in the notes as well for the YouTube video. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at the setup. So Python is the main language for this repository, and we're going to use 3.11. We can always upgrade that later as needed. We're going to use pipenv to manage our virtual environment and our dependencies. So you'll need to do a pipenv install and shell there. I'm going to skip the instructions for installing Python 3.11 and pipenv, but you will find those in the Python official documentation in Google or your friendly LLM. So get that done. Come back then and install the application after you have cloned it onto your machine. Another thing to say is that it's designed, like most Python repos these days, it's designed to run in Linux. So if you're a Windows user, like myself, your best bet is to run this in WSL. And another thing that I find very useful is to use something like VS Code, which you can run, basically from Windows into WSL. So it's a very seamless kind of GUI experience if you haven't tried that. But there's lots of ways, lots of IDEs, lots of ways you can work with this. That's just one good one. So once you've installed the pipenv environment, you can then install the application itself. So that's going to be done with the pip install -e. And the idea there is just to keep the application separate from the pipenv, which turns out to be kind of handy later on when we go to deploy it, say onto a Docker image or something like that. I find it to be handy anyway. And you can just run the game then, the initial game, main.py then, just to make sure everything is working. So that's kind of the quick development setup. The roadmap, well, we're going to build the casino application over the first kind of epoch of development. And there is a tentative roadmap here of the things that we're going to go and build. And we're going to start with just a simple dice game, some simple dice rolls. And then we'll go on in later phases to bigger and greater things over time. Now, if you're a learner, what are some of the prerequisites for, say, getting something out of this repo? Well, I'd say you don't have to do a huge amount, but what you probably would have to do is just do some basic Python programming. So that's kind of your conditional if then else, your looping functions, some basic object-oriented programming, very basic, just like creating some classes and methods and just getting them to work together. Some basic Git and GitHub. So can you clone a repo, write some code, commit back to the repo, right? Stuff like that. Basic command line usage. Can you make a directory in Linux? Just move around in the directory, run your Python script, and then finally pip and pipenv, which you can get from quick tutorials on those sites. So you can be up and running fairly fast. And you can even maybe try using this repo in parallel if you want to. Okay, so once you're ready to go, the way this is going to work is we're going to have tags for milestone releases, and we're going to have challenges within each of those milestones for the next release. So say if you're interested in doing something like this one here, enhanced die with custom sides and multiple rows, well, what you do then is just pull or check out the previous tag, which is the basic die game, and that will have the challenge then to create that next release. So you can work away on it and get your code working, and then pull the next milestone and just compare, what you did with what was done in this repo. Yours may be better, which is fantastic. But the main thing is just to do it yourself first before you look at the answer. Really, it's just the usual thing. So that's kind of the idea. So there'll be more and more of these kind of tags as the application gets built, which will allow you then to jump in at any point and basically do the work yourself and then compare it to what I or others have done in the main repo. Now, if you want to go beyond this and contribute to the repo, that'd be fantastic. I'll be opening it up for contributors pretty soon, maybe by the time you're watching this video. and there'll be instructions for how to contribute there. It'll kind of be the standard open source contribution idea there, and that'll be fantastic. Okay, that's it. In the next video, what we'll do is we'll get coding on the first milestone.